Hello.
You rang.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Not seen you for a while.
No, I'm in the cellar at the moment. Give me a few moments and I'll come back up.
Various acts have been repealed and laws have been changed regarding magic, witchcraft, and a variety of other pseudo faiths or practices. What's interesting is that in the last couple of years, most of what was practiced as witchcraft in the 1920s, 1930s has in fact now been established as science. You can even go to college and learn about it. You know, aromatherapy, kinesiology, reflexology, all of those 100 years ago were all witchcraft. Now it's all a science.
Have you ever been driving and you've been driving perfectly fine and you get to the other end and you think, how did I get here? I don't remember any of the journey. Yeah, it happens a lot, doesn't it? Like, that's hypnosis. It's basically, all of a sudden, your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind steps in and overrides the conscious mind. That's all hypnosis is. What's going to happen is immediately you're going to feel a state of deep relaxation overtake your entire body. You'll actually immediately slip into a deep, deep trance, a deep, deep hypnotic trance the moment I touch the back of each of your hands, okay? And it won't worry you, bother you, or concern you, okay? All right, and sleep, okay, totally relax for me. Sleep, okay, and totally relax for me. There are no dangers at all with hypnosis. The only thing that can happen occasionally is you get what's called an abreaction. Now, with an abreaction, basically, people can have an emotional output that is provoked by some sort of hypnotherapy. It doesn't tend to happen in performance hypnosis, but with therapy, you can be doing things which will provoke a certain emotional reaction, and that's the only thing that could be interpreted as a risk with hypnosis. Whatever suggestion I make is going to become your immediate and very real reality. It's not going to worry you, it's not going to bother you or concern you. In actual fact, you feel better than you've ever felt before.
I'm quite scared of not coming out of the hypnotised state, or getting told to do some stupid things or something.
You're going to realise it becomes totally and utterly stuck, glued, cemented to your head. It's a really strange experience, okay? It's almost like your head and your hand become one big lump of cement, and that hand becomes impossible to move. It's totally stuck to your head, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. In fact, the harder you try to stop your hand being stuck there, the harder you'll find it to remove your hand, because it's totally stuck and glued to your head. That's right, Holly, I can see you trying to move your hand now, and you find the harder you try and move it, the more stuck it becomes, okay? Just nod your head gently if that's the case. It's weird, isn't it? 9 and 10, and you're back in the room feeling absolutely brilliant. How was that?
That's alright.
It was strange.
Yeah.
How did you find it, Holly?
That was weird.
A weird
Really
experience.
weird.
And how do you feel now?
Feel really good.
You feel good? Excellent. And what was it like? Because you had your hand stuck to your head at one point. What was that like?
Well, I could hear you saying that my hand would be stuck to my head, and I was like, oh, it won't be stuck to my head. And then it was stuck to my head, and I was trying to move it, and it wouldn't go. It was really funny.
It's strange. How did you feel? Because you seemed to just slump, like instantly asleep, and you were right there.
I thought I felt completely normal.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I think you touched my back. And I was just like...
My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'm very much intrigued by the whole paranormal scene. I'm interested in energy healing and how hypnotherapy works and sort of performance magic, and I think it all kind of interweaves itself quite a lot. I do believe in the supernatural, but I'm also quite cynical. I'd love to believe that there's life after death and all of this sort of thing. And I'm constantly reading books about it and constantly experimenting and getting involved in paranormal investigation. So I believe there's something there. It's strange. Bizarrely, it is pretty much what you'd imagine it to be. When someone's possessed, they seem to lose their own personality almost. Quite often you'll see a glazed expression go over them. And quite often they can even start talking in a voice which is totally unfamiliar to them. It's even been known for people to speak in languages that they don't know, where they've been possessed by a spirit from a different country, from a different era, and they start speaking in tongues, as it is known, in a language they couldn't possibly know.
You have to remember that spirits are people. or dead people, depending on how you want to look at it. And you know, if you start being rude to somebody alive, they're going to get angry, aren't they? And it's the same sort of principle. And the thing is that if you are rude and you are angering somebody, whether they're alive or a spirit, and it's completely irrelevant, which it is, all it does is it creates energy. And the more energy that's available for the spirit to use, the more likely they are to do something. And the more likely you are to get a loud noise or something move, or you know, maybe a picture fall off a wall, or you know, something like that.
Essentially, it's provocation in some way.
Absolutely.
That's essentially what a séance is.
Absolutely.
Provoking a reaction.
That's it.
Did you get that yet?
At seances, we have people occasionally getting followed home by spirits with different things happening, really. It can be poltergeist activity in a house. There was actually something in the local paper in Stratford not so long ago, probably about 5 years ago or so. Someone had done a ghost tour at a particular haunted building in Stratford, and they then had all sorts of paranormal experiences in their home. They had the house locked up, and they would leave for work, and they'd come back and find cupboard doors open, things had been knocked onto the floor, numerous things. They'd have people feeling like someone was sat in the back seat behind them in a car.
It doesn't matter whether people believe in it, it doesn't matter whether people are terrified, whether they think it's all fraud, whether they think it's all real. The whole point is, you know, it's up to them to decide.
And that is very much linking back to the question that you asked me earlier about, does the magic I do cross over with seances and real magic and all of that? It may do. It is just people's perception of what's happening. It's exactly the same. It's about people having questions and provoking thought and provoking a reaction from people. Like any art form does the same thing, I suppose.
If you look at the work that Derren Brown does, Derren does not claim to be a psychic at all, and yet some of the reactions that he gets and some of the information that he comes up with makes people go, how do you know that? But he's very clear, he's an entertainer, he's a mentalist, he is not a psychic.
But people will still be adamant he is.
Absolutely.
He openly tells people he is not, but people will still claim he must be, which is the power of magic or the power of theatre or the power of all of this. It doesn't matter what you say. If someone's beliefs are so strong in something, it makes no difference because they'll believe what they want to believe. Magic keeps me creating and it keeps me researching, and it gives me excitement, and I think hopefully it's passed on to other people, which is great. Without that, it would just be a 9 to 5, I suppose. There wouldn't be that excitement, there wouldn't be that mystery or that drive.
Now my charms are all thrown. What strength I have as my own, which is most faint now, 'tis true. I must be here, confined by you, in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. The gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please.